Hello there, this is Big Benedict. We're playing The Evil Within on Akumu difficulty, and this is my video guide and walkthrough for the aforementioned title. We're on chapter 15 of 15. It is entitled An Evil Within. So as we make our way up here, jogging up this incline, we will be met with Leslie a couple of times en route to the asylum. In these chests here, one of them will give you 500 in gel. So we've made it a long way in this campaign. I've trimmed out all the psychological mind games that the game does with the screen and the storyline up until now, and I've started it at the title card. So in this room, here is once again the slaughter and the suicide. Have we achieved catharsis coming back? I don't know yet. By the end of this video, we will see if our emotions have been purged. I suspect they will have been. However, for now, we're just going to be running through rooms, going to environments we've already been to before, and collecting things here and there. I do want to say that if you're on the fence about playing Akumu difficulty, I would say I would go for it. It isn't overly difficult. It's fun, and it's going to give the people who like to play at a higher level of gameplay that challenge that nightmare difficulty probably just won't afford you. Now, as I mentioned in video 1, from what I understand, Akumu does mean nightmare. So it's just the pun, I guess you would say, on the two meanings of the word. So this is where we fled from the sadist originally, and if you take a left over here, smash this. If you remember in the beginning of the game, we passed by this area here and we were wounded and unable to melee, but now we can. And I would recommend coming into this room because it's going to give you some sniper rifle ammunition, even though it is only 2. You know, if you only have a few like I had, it's going to add to your count and help you out later, because there are some hard sections in this chapter. The final boss is not anything that you need to worry about. You know, gone are the days when a vanquished final boss would be situated before us and halt our progress. But then again, 2013's Gears of War Judgment had me just about ready to give up, just as I have given up on the vanquished final boss. So it isn't like we're not given challenges these days. It's up to the individual. It's a completely individualized experience. It's a subjective take, and we can only do what we can do as players and as human beings. So as we run up the staircase, I'm going to avoid that room to the right because all it has, if I'm not mistaken, is just a tape recorder to play. But there is more stuff coming up. We'll have the last map fragment. I've sped up this. I usually speed up elevator sequences. You can imagine how tedious it is to make a guide for Dead Space when that's, you know, you spend so much time riding elevators and lifts. But this is where the final manuscript is. The map fragment. And I think it would have been more interesting if you took the map fragments and you placed them on the bulletin board in the lobby area by the locker room. I think that would be more interesting than just having them in an archive. But that's not the only reason we went down here. We also went down here to collect the gel. Another word of caution: you'll need to have used any keys that you have. Make sure that you use them at the start of the level, because the next access to an upgrade bench is only that. It's just an upgrade bench. There's no going through a mirror and going to the asylum. So remember to get these spare parts right here. It's only 1, but now we have 45 at our disposal. We will come in here and we're going to take a right and save our progress and do our upgrades. Alright, so once you save your progress and do your upgrades, make sure that, like I said, just make sure you have your loadout the exact way you want it, so that every time you die, you can have exactly what you want. So what I have is the grenades on the bottom. I have some flash bolts going for me, and the handgun and the shotgun. The shotgun is imperative to have over here, and it's one of those balancing act kind of situations where you're gonna get a lot of your ammunition back, but I'm always finding myself in a quandary as to like the mental struggle of not wanting to waste too many things. So what I'm gonna do along those regards, and by the way, the eyes here, you don't have to shoot the eyes or do anything like that, even though there was some kind of a cryptic message from the jailed individual, the psychotic, who was telling you to watch out for the eye. The goal here is to kill everybody. That's a simple goal. So the first thing I'm going to do is plant an explosive bolt on the other side, the other tower over there, because once you kill the majority of these guys, then the other enemies on the other tower are going to spawn. So I think that this is the most effective way to use the grenades and kill most everybody. When you see the A button prompt, that means the other people on the other tower are coming, and you'll hear my explosive bolt detonate if you listen closely. So I like to stay up here for the majority of the battle. I'm going to throw explosive bolts across the way, and the main issue that this is hard is because of anybody who has guns. But it's a very reasonable strategy. These bolts, they only are 2 in quantity for the number of bolts you need to construct, and the main enemies will come up this ladder at all times. So here's another problem foe right here. I'm going to flash bolt him, and halfway through you do get a checkpoint, and at that point you're dealing with enemies who mostly have melee tools, although one of them will have an explosive bolt in his harpoon, in his oh, I forgot about this. Okay, so on this difficulty, they give you the Reuven clone. So what you need to do, the best thing to do, rather, is to just magnum him. Any body shot will just take him out, and he's out of the picture. So he's one of the last barriers to your victory here and securing yourself that checkpoint. So I'm using height to my advantage, and it works really well. And when I get the checkpoint, what's going to happen is they're going to put me down at the base of this area here, which I love this whole area. I love the textures, the colors, the music, the whole configuration of the ladders and the platforms here. Just realize that every time I restarted or died and then restarted or whatever, because I don't want to watch the cutscenes. See this little jump cut right there? That was me coming up here, and they give you quite a long time. So you're going to have 3 women dropping down here every single time. So what I like to do, even though I failed to detonate it, is just use the flash bolt to take care of these 3 enemies. There's going to be enemies coming on either tower once again, and also some fat enemies, as they're called so eloquently in the loading screens. And the shotgun just decimates. So ideally you want to try to burn them, and the other fat guy, he should have got burned too, but there's no justice in this game. There's only countless deaths. So what I'm going to do here, since this is one of the safest spots I found, is to continually use the stun, the flash bolts, excuse me. Even use a good old freeze bolt too. There's a freeze bolt down below too. And don't worry about, we're going to loot afterwards. So once the majority of the enemies are clear, this guy's going to come out, the sadist, and he's got a rocket launcher. And when I saw that the first time, I was laughing so damn hard because it's just the ludicrous nature of the whole situation. But if you haven't killed this guy, see this guy, watch this, and you would have think he would have been killed, right? No, he's still going to give me a problem. So from this point of this point on the map, the sadist cannot shoot you with the rocket, but we will need to get him down from his perch, either by using the magnum or by using the sniper rifle, which I'm going to use the latter. Now, this guy here gave me a problem. He's mainly, if any enemy is going to kill you, it's going to be a guy with a gun. But the strategies that I'm setting forth, and by the way, this part here, it's very, very difficult to react when these guys come around the corner, because they just come around the corner and shoot you point blank. They don't even give you a chance. So what I would suggest is wait until the guy in the distance fires, the sadist. Wait till he fires, and then peek around to see, who's coming, if anybody. And at this point, I'm going to stand here. This is another safe spot. But in order to get the sadist down, we need to risk a little bit of exposure. So if you can stand behind here, just beware that if any part of your body is sticking out when the rockets are nearing, you will die. So I got a headshot right there, but unfortunately it didn't trigger him. I've got a headshot on him before, and he dropped the rocket launcher and came down. So I had to do another body shot to make him do the action. So at this point, you guys know the drill about this guy. Explosive arrows, like they're going out of style, and just stick him with the explosive arrows. Mind that when you shoot him with those, make sure you're always sprinting away to avoid the splash. And I think for the final finale here, I'm going to use flashbolt and knife him right in the gut. There you go, motherfucker. Taste that. And then feel free. I mean, don't feel free. You've earned every piece of loot here. Take your time. You don't get a checkpoint yet, but take your time to go around and make sure you don't miss anything, because if you've done that fight and you can do it without taking any damage, it's damn hard. You've earned every single piece of scrap and inventory you can pick up. So now, once we go through here, we will get another checkpoint, and we'll be dealing with some snipers. The snipers aren't too bad, actually, and some of them will toss dynamite. So what you want to do is try to go for headshots, and then pick up what items are available for you to pick up over here. Namely, you'll have that harpoon bolt there, and there's two on either side. They seem to pacify a little bit. For instance, you'll see these guys here when I go to aim. Oh, well, he's throwing dynamite, but they just kind of stand there trying to just wait. This is I like this, but I think that this is too much of a low after that high that we just did. So I think that this part should have been before the previous section. It just would have buffered you into that fight a little more gradually. But it's pretty decent. I mean, it's a nice letdown, I guess you would say, and it does it pretty gracefully. So when you come up here, just make sure you investigate the areas where those haunted enemies were to see if they have anything. Sniper rifle ammo, very good. So we're coming up on the double keeper boss fight. For me, it took me, let's see, well, I died once and then I did it the second time. Not too hard of a fight. I mean, you'll come down here, make sure you have your loadout, like I've been saying. Jump down here, and since I know this is pretty much the last fight in the game, the last significant fight that requires anything of you, I'm not going to bother dismantling traps anymore. So as you make your way down here, they're going to materialize here, and just wait until they're fully buffered into the environment before you start shooting them. Right about now. So what you want to do is peg them with as many of those as possible, then retreat back here, pull this so they can't get you, and then you can either use your shotgun or your magnum. The magnum works wonders, and the first one's down, the second one's down. Not bad at all. very easy section. So there are the doors right there. There's no reason to pick it up. I mean, next time we go to the save point, the upgrade bench, or the chair, excuse me, won't be there. So I've sped this up. There shouldn't be any traps if you dispatch them as quickly as I showed you how to dispatch them. And then we'll be coming up. I really like the final section of the game. It's the amalgam that we'll be fighting. This is a cool little section too, reminiscent of the Dark Knight sections in Batman, the Arkham games. So it's a little bit more difficult. I got to the checkpoint on my first try over here, so it's mainly the second part that's a little bit difficult. But in the grand totality, it's more of a fun little divergence here. It's just interesting, and that's why I like it. It's fun too. So just watch out for the spotlights. If they fall on you, you will just instantly die. And you're not required to go too far here. Just, don't go out of your way to dismantle traps unless you absolutely have to. So let's just... Oh, I did this one? Okay. It's not necessary to do that one. But for this one here, wait until the searchlight goes down and then back up. Then you want to go to the side. And for what I'm going to do here is wait until the searchlight goes down, and then I'm going to gradually approach the trap and dismantle it. I think shooting it from this point would kill you. I don't know how explosive it is, but take the bear trap out. It didn't look like I got it, but I actually did hit it. So as long as we can get these little nooks in the walls are completely safe. Camera doesn't prevent a problem here, so as long as you can get to those switches, you'll be fine. And then you'll get your checkpoint. So I've really enjoyed doing this project. It took me the longest time to do a project. Normally a project takes about 2 to 3 weeks. This has taken about 2.5 weeks. So this right here, just make sure that you move the camera around just to make sure that you can fully see where those wires are located. So this just follow the searchlight here. Very cautiously, just follow it. And then when it goes right, you go left. And then sprint this way, you'll go get another checkpoint, and then we'll be running towards the screen. And try not to get killed by this. If you step in the blood pools, you'll lose. Most likely, you'll go knee deep in water. But right there, you see, the end goal was not very far to begin with. So now we're going back to the asylum, and I've trimmed out a lot of sections. After I defeat the final boss as well, I'm just going to put the clear screen on and wish you guys all well. So the door to the left is not a door we can go through. This is the save room. You might as well save your progress if you want to. Like I mentioned, the chair is not there to upgrade. But that's probably because there's nothing that you will need anymore. And I thought this was a really fun section the first time, and I just thought when the sadist turns up at the end, dead, and it was just too convenient, and it put a smile on my face. And a lot of the game has done that. I mean, for me, it's not scary. You know, it's scarier to lose progress when you're doing really well. But it's been a very enjoyable guide. But let's keep talking because people need help, and I'm here to provide that help. So, but I'm not sure what I'll be covering next. What game I'll be covering next. I know of no new game that's even remotely having the semblance of being anything other than a piece of other dog shit. So, I'm not sure. So make your way up here. I don't think I'll be playing Ninja Gaiden 2 anymore. Not for a while. I said January maybe, but I am gonna be moving in early to late spring. So I can't. I just don't want to cover that. If I'm gonna cover something, I want to do something new. And just because I'm moving doesn't mean the channel is gonna be dead. It might be dead for a few weeks or a month or so, but it's not ever dead. Hardcore never dies. So this is I would say that this part is a little bit easier than the next part. It's what you're doing is you're shooting the red areas, try to get as many machine gun rounds into the red circle as possible. And I actually failed quite a bit here the first time I played this, and I will be putting the number of deaths at the end for you guys. I thought it would be a lot more, and it probably was at least 100 more deaths than it shows at the end. I won't spoil it, but I don't suffer to watch the long bleed out screens. I quit to the autosave point more often than not. So, but the final sequence took me about at least 10 times. The thing is, you need to be shooting it as much as possible. He's got a lot of HP, and you need to be shooting it even if you're not getting all the headshots to connect. Just strive. Here's what you need to do. Priority number 1 really should be to hit it as many times as possible. Priority number 2, you know, and it almost goes along with priority number 1, but try to hit it in the face. Zoom in and try to hit him in the face, because it's going to take more damage off of him. I just love this. It's brilliant execution, brilliant writing. And then priority number 3 is to make sure that you're when he has the red circle available, make sure that you get that in there, or you will fail. It'll happen about twice. So I'm going to zoom in here, try to hit his head, and just try to hit him as much as possible. The thing is, when you see the red circle coming up, it'll be moving around, and then it will come to a complete stop. So that's you want to be shooting it when it's coming to a complete stop. So zoom in, see, complete stop, hit it in the head. It'll break the crown, the barrier over its head, and you just need to do that 2 times. But keep firing. There's plenty of rockets to shoot at it, and I really hope that you beat this. I did not see the achievement come up at the end, but my clear screen does say Akumu difficulty mode, so there's no question. If you want to doubt it, go ahead. But yeah, there's one section after this where you just need to shoot Ruvik 1 time, and then you'll have completed the game after you watch the cutscenes and everything like that. So I do want to wish everybody the best. Thank you very much for watching the guide, and leave comments if this helped you, particularly what areas helped you. I'd be interested to know that. And take care.